Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new artist vlog. Today is actually my birthday. I'm 28 today. Yippee! So we went out for dinner yesterday and we're going out for dinner again today because it's my birthday and we get to go out for dinner 2 days in a row. But I thought that I would film this now so that I didn't have to do it later. And also, don't mind my desktop is messy right now because that kind of illustrates what's happening in my mind right now with like creativity and like the influx of ideas and concepts and just this like overflow of content that I have that I need to be executing on and applying. So that will lead into today's brief conversation. I'm back at the cottage. We've got this sailboat behind me again, which I'm not a fan of. But again, I was working from here. I got my baby blankie, and I was like, again, felt this like urge to, I don't know, like curate the set of this video. And then I was like, no, Arij, that's not the intention of these artist logs. These are meant to maintain this like rawness. Like I'm sitting here. We went to the gym today, got home from the gym and felt inspired to channel creativity, and I'm cozy and comfy in this jacket. I'm sitting on this comfy cozy couch because that's what I mean, honestly, a lot of I feel like I really thrive creatively in a comfy situation. I barely ever will work on a desk because I prefer feeling held, especially like soft things like couches or like I prefer, like I feel like I just flow the best when my body is physically relaxed in this way. So, yes, let's go through the questions today. There is some exciting stuff that happened today or this week. Okay, so question number one is, how did I feel overall this week and what did I learn about myself? So, this is the question of the video that kind of reflects on the previous week. Well, so does question two. And then question three is about next week. So, off the top of my head, like I felt really good this week. I don't even remember what my intention was last week, but I yeah, I mean integration, right? That's what it was. It was like I wanted to be able to feel more comfortable like being all parts of me, and I feel like that really clicked into place this week. On Thursday, I had a reading and like energy healing with my friend Denise, who I think I've mentioned in Artist Log 1 as well. So I'll leave her links in the description for like her services and what she does. She does like a multidimensional energy healing type of situation going on over there. It's really great and really, her work is very, very, very powerful and impactful. So I had a reading with her on and healing with her on Thursday, and the themes were all around like integrating the many masks. That was like one of the cards that came up, and like integrating all these like various masks that I wear and integrating it into myself and realizing that all of them are part of my unique authentic expression. And the way that that made sense to me on a practical creative level is that there's so many different avenues that I create in. There's like my online stuff, there's like my short form content, my long form content, my videos like this, like my makeup reels, like there or like and then there's also like the versions of me that how I am in person, and like the way that we're creating in every moment no matter what, and the ways that I create, they differ. um like the mask or like how I appear to others is different in multiple different contexts, and I don't have to like get rid of any of them. It's not like all of those masks are me, but they're just like how I show up in different contexts. And I feel like this week I really understood that like all of those are me, And it's impossible to embody all that we are in every single moment because I mean, you do that just like through your essence. Like people can feel it in your energy, but like in like how you're actually like taking action or what you're saying or things like that on like a physical 3D reality level, like it's impossible to be all of the things all at once. Like the version of me that's into energy healing is probably not going to be at the forefront when I'm in, I don't know, when I'm like doing a make. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like there's these various versions of me. Like if I'm wearing okay, no, but here's the thing, I'm like balancing stuff. I was gonna say like the version of me like into energy healing is not gonna be like probably not gonna be at the forefront when I'm like doing a video about skincare, but that's actually like so untrue because literally the idea that I had this week was like I filmed like a skincare routine video and I wanted to blend it with the concept of like witchiness. Witch, like being a witch, because witch is being a witch is like all about intention setting and manifestation. And skincare, literally it's like so perfect for that conversation because you have these like little potions and things like that in the form of like serums and creams and etc. And then each of those has an intention, and I wanted to blend that. So I'm actually wrong. This is an example of like the type of thinking I'm shifting out of. I'm shifting out of thinking that like all these like seeing myself as like this fragmented set like identities and realizing that they all come together to be me. And actually when I blend the things in kind of ways that are unique to me, that's what makes my work unique. So I hope that like kind of coherently came around. Like you actually got to witness my own shift in the way that I think about this because I'm still like integrating it. This idea that because I was saying like you can't be all of you all at once. And like yes, but also you can like blend it and realize that all of them are you even when they seem like they're disjointed. So, yeah, okay. Secondly, I had my highest I had a reel get to like 20,000 something plays this week. Super random reel. It was literally like one of those reels that you just kind of like, I made it in the moment. I was coming home from the grocery store. I had a thought and I like was driving home and I put like hit record and started talking. And that's like my best performing video on Instagram. And that like whole experience really reminded me of this idea that it's not about the perfect planning and the perfect execution and the best sound quality and like all this stuff. Like, yes, like that helps, but also that video had like the worst audio quality because I was in the car. And so I just like do like noise reduction and stuff. So it like wasn't great in that way. The lighting was kind of bad because the sun was setting, but it's the energy, right? It's the energy that I was making that video from. It was like a very like in the flow type of documentation of my experience. And that experience like it just reminded because I'd been like putting a lot of pressure on myself. Like I like you see how I have all of these like icons this week. Like there's a lot of like content backlog in my phone and stuff of things I've filmed and I haven't like really sat down to edit and like post it yet. And I'd been getting really like down on my not like I've been kind of putting pressure on myself to maintain a routine around the posting and like I don't know, like be a little bit more structured with it when I think like that I feel like at this point like I've learned like I'm in the flow of content creation. Like I don't have to like apply that much discipline anymore to filming and editing and stuff. It's just like I did apply discipline for a few months, these past few months, and was like making sure I was like working on something every day and all of that. And I feel like I'm at this point now where it's just flowing out of me, you know, it's like it's something that is just it's just become part of my routines naturally. And so I don't need to apply the same level of like discipline and structure to it, and I can rely on those in the moment free, like authentic types of documentation of my life because I find that my content Okay, so this is gonna be I'm gonna be talking about this. I mean, yeah, like something that I'm bringing in this next week related to question number 3 is what are my intentions for next week and what new things do I want to try? I want to bring back my coaching persona and business type of thing, which I was doing from like 2020 to 2022 or 2023-ish. And I kind of like entered into the online coaching industry, and then I like stepped away because I didn't really know how I wanted to fit in there and like how I fit and like how to do it in a way that was like actually suitable for me and in the way that I wanted to without feeling unaligned. So I took a step back and I'm bringing it back in because it's it's coming up again, and I'm like, oh, like basically, wait, what was I even just talking about? Oh no, before I went into that. Oh, yes. Okay, so I feel like my content, so I want to be both, like I want to take the best of like the both worlds of like successful coaches and successful influencer. Like I feel like I notice that people are either one or the other, but I want to, well, I mean I have noticed some people who are like attempting both, and I'm sure there are a lot of people, but I want to be in that place that does both. Like I want to make really great like standalone content that is fits in with the flow of the social media platforms, and people who are not my ideal coaching clients or target clients or whatever target market, they can still benefit and learn stuff from my content. But then I also want to have like a coaching arm because I find it really meaningful and fulfilling to work with people on a personal level to help them apply the things like the wisdom. I feel like with my content, it's like a lot of me is just like sharing what I've learned. And then in the coaching business, I want to help people apply what I'm sharing about, like the wisdom that I am sharing about. The coaching business is going to be about helping people like apply that to their specific unique situations. And so I also wanted to say, like, with my content, like, a lot of the purpose of my content too is about documenting my own life and how I apply these principles that I teach on or speak about publicly, how I applied in my own life, how I actually like practice what I preach. And so I feel like the style of content filming and creating, where it's like very much like in the flow and in aligned, in like in proper alignment with my life and like what's going on, like first of all, that's like the most sustainable way to create because I don't actually, it's like just happening as I'm living my life. And that allows me to post a lot more than like trying to create by like planning all the different contents that I'm gonna like upload that week and then having to like sit down and like film it or like, you know what I mean? Like there's like this version to create reels where it's kind of like very thought out and overproduced, which a lot of people that resonates with, and that's great. But for me, I do tend, it's like once I know that I'm making content, once I'm like committed to it, I feel better allowing the content creation to kind of flow with my natural life, like kind of be integrated into my natural life rather than having to like create separate space to create content. If you separate, if you understand what that means, like instead of creating like separate like time block, I mean like yes, like there are points where I'm gonna like time block into my schedule, like when I want to like edit certain things, but in general, like just the creation is like more integrated into my daily life rather than segmented as some, like it's just part of what I do. It's just part of how I live, is documenting my life so that people can see that I'm practicing what I'm preaching and how I'm applying the things that I'm talking about into my own life. Like I just think it's so important to see that. So what stood out to me this week in my creative journey, I already really spoke on that. It really is just about like letting myself be and letting myself create in the flow of my existing life. Um, and yeah, like structuring things as I need to be structured. Like in question three, which is what are my intentions for next week? What new things do I want to try? I want to create a podcast this week. I have a podcast called The Conscious Club that's currently in hibernation mode. That's not the podcast I'm talking about. I'm talking about a brand new podcast called The Overflow Method, which is going to like lead beautifully into my coaching work. So the podcast is going to be like structured content. So the reels and stuff that I'm talking about, like I want that to just be like a very like in the flow, like, you know, type of like flowy type of situation. But the Overflow podcast is going to be structured. Like there's going to be, that's like the content that I'm going to like sit down and brainstorm the idea and the topic, brainstorm like the content of the podcast. Like I'm going to structure that. So it's like really exciting. I'm going to read you the intro to my Overflow Method podcast because I like spent some time writing it out, and instead of trying to like free flow it right now, I have it written, so I'm just going to read it to you. Welcome to the Overflow Method podcast, where success feels as good as it looks. I'm Arij, and I guide ambitious creative women to build their dream lifestyles without burnout. If you've ever felt like you had to sacrifice something important to achieve success, this podcast is here to show you another way. The Overflow Method is about unlocking an endless well of energy, resources, confidence, and creativity, grounding yourself in health, expressing yourself through personal style, curating an inspiring environment, and channeling your passions into a life of impact. You don't have to choose between achievement and well being. You can have it all and more. Let's get flowing. Isn't that just so? See, I've never had such like a structured vision and mission for my creative work, and I'm very excited for this like branch of my work. Like this is part of the integration thing too. Like I enjoy like free flow creation, and I get to explore that through my short form content, but I also admire people who have structured content, and now I can explore that as well through my podcast. And then that podcast leads into more structured offerings like the coaching programs that I can make like proper money off of through. So anyway, everything's coming along beautifully over here. I feel like the confidence piece is really beginning to land. The like self-expression piece, I don't feel scared anymore of like 2 weeks ago, like I was genuinely like still felt this like shrinking thing going on, or was that last week? And I did resolve that. After setting the intention to resolve that, I did actually resolve that. So that's amazing. I don't feel shrinky, and that might also be why I hit my highest video on Instagram, because energetically it's like I've unlocked this like new level of taking up space confidently, and I'm, yeah, just letting myself be, and I'm not having that as many moments of shrinking. It's like I'm posting and then just like moving on to the next thing. It's like I've achieved that consistent flow that I was desiring. So, yeah, that's it. This might have been a longer video. Maybe not. I don't know. How long has it been? I don't know. Um, but yeah, the main intentions for this week going in are launch the Overflow podcast with the first episode. Secondly, I do want to kind of, because I want to do this every week, I do need to like kind of review my creative commitments to myself and prioritize things and actually like decide what I'm actually going to work on every week. As much as I love the flow, which is it's important and great and creative and fun, um, I do need to kind of sit down and actually like commit to certain creative projects like the podcast and be like, this is when I'm going to work on that, just so everything, it kind of, it's consistent, it's sustainable, like, you know what I mean? So those are the two things. Is there anything else that I intend to do? That I intend to do more, those are like the two main things. And then the rest is just keeping up with what I've already been keeping up with But that's easy now because it's kind of like I put in the mental effort and stuff to like stabilize those activities in my reality, like taking care of myself properly, eating enough, exercising, making short videos, etc. And now they're kind of running themselves. So that's my focus is now on the Overflow Method podcast and the coaching, like kind of like restarting the coaching business arm of my expression. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Or if I post again this week, see you around.